لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السمیع العلیم। शुरू अल्लाह के बाबरकत नाम से जिसकी मौजूदगी में ज़मीन व आसमान की कोई शय इंसान को नुकसान नहीं पहुंचा सकती, क्योंकि वो कादिर मुतलक है और उसके हुक्म के बगैर कोई चीज़ हरकत नहीं कर सकती। आज का हमारा टॉपिक है ऑटोसक्लेरोसिस। एज द नेम इंडिकेट्स, auto means ear, sclerosis means excessive fibrosis in the bone. It is a hereditary and localized disease of the aortic capsule, bony aortic capsule, where the mature lamellar bone is removed by osteoclasts and replaced by woven irregular bone of greater thickness, greater cellularity and greater vascularities as compared to normal. Normally, the mature bone is lamellar bone, but over here, this bone, normal bone, is replaced by an abnormal bone, which is a woven bone of greater thickness, greater cellularity and greater vascularity with a large number of osteoclasts. As far as the etiology is concerned, exact etiology is not clear, but there are various factors which can be of value. They include metabolic disorders, certain vascular diseases, persistent infection, trauma, and anatomical and histological anomalies of the temporal bone. The incidence is about 2%. Sex distribution, it is more common in females as compared to males. That is ratio of 1 to 2. Genetically, it has an autosomal dominant inheritance character. In spite of the fact that the defect is present right from the start, the disease starts its appearance in teenage and in early adulthood. It is uncommon before the age of 5 years to present clinically. There are certain aggravating factors which aggravate the condition and it becomes apparent clinically. They are puberty. That is why disease clinically is not known, as is not diagnosed before puberty. Most of the time after teenage, in early puberty. Pregnancy is another very important aggravating factor. And very common history in these cases, you will find that a young lady, after getting first pregnancy, she starts feeling problem of hearing bilaterally or unilaterally, which is very slowly progressive. But before pregnancy, she was unaware of the problem. Sometimes menopause is another aggravating factor. And that is why the condition is more common in females, the pregnancy being a very important aggravating factor. As far as the site of involvement is concerned, as I have mentioned already, it is a localized disease of petrous temporal bone. So, the following sites in the bony labyrinth, they are commonly involved. The most important one is the oval window. That is the area of the oval window, just around the oval window. The bone of petrous temporal bone is involved in this pathological process. And next to that, the bone around the round window near the processus cochleariformis and bulge of pulmonary. Both bony labyrinths, they are involved in majority of the cases. That is, it is usually a bilateral condition. No doubt one side may be involved more than the other, but mostly it is bilateral condition, but it can be unilateral in 10 to 15% of the cases. When the process of this abnormal bone formation continues, this focus extends and infiltrates and fixes the footplate of stapes in the oval window. The area being the commonest site of formation of this abnormal bone, slowly and progressively, because of this abnormality, there is decreased movement of the footplate of stapes in the oval window, and ultimately it may get fixed. Eventually, firm bony ankylosis occurs and the footplate of stapes is fixed in the oval window, and that is responsible mainly for its clinical presentation, that is conductive deafness. Initially, obviously, this conductive deafness will not be that severe, but once there is complete ankylosis of the footplate of stapes in the oval window, then patient will have more and more conductive deafness. Pathologically, there are three stages of this pathological process. The first is active stage, also known as autospongiosis, where there is excessive cellularity and excessive vascularization of the area. Intermediate stage and inactive stage, that is the otosclerosis, which is clinically common and commonly presented. Active stage and intermediate stage, they are very rare and they are rarely detected, but most of the time when the patient comes to you, he is in this inactive stage of otosclerosis. Clinical features: patient can have bilateral, slowly progressive conductive hearing loss. As I have just mentioned, it is the otosclerosis, that is inactive stage, slowly progressive stage, which is mainly presented clinically. Very active and intermediate stages, they are very rare presentation. So the disease is very slowly progressive, and patient may become conscious of the problem quite late. And the main problem with which the patient will be coming to you, that is slowly progressive conductive type of deafness, mostly bilateral, maybe unilateral. Paracosis villi, that is hearing becomes better in noisy situation, which is the criteria of conductive deafness, maybe because of otosclerosis or conductive deafness because of other reasons. Mixed deafness is very rare because, as I've just mentioned, it is the area of the oval window which is mainly involved in this process, causing fixation of footplate of stapes, which is responsible for conductive deafness. But when it involves the other parts of the petrous temporal bone, it can affect the cochlea also. And in that situation, patient might present with mixed hearing loss, that is mainly conductive, but a little bit element of sensorineural hearing loss can be there. But again, please be sure, whenever you will consider this condition among the causes of deafness, it will be counted in causes of conductive deafness, because that is the main feature with which the patient clinically presents. Mixed deafness is very rare, and if at all some cochlear element is there, that too is very small. So this should be considered in the last. Mainly and dominantly, it is responsible for conductive type of deafness. But when there is sensorineural element, patient may have tinnitus and vertigo. Again, they will be rare presentations because the cochlear element of deafness is very rare. On examination, you will see that the patient is a young person and more dominantly a female. And again, the female which has recently got married and she has got first pregnancy, they are more commonly encountered and affected by this process. Now when you examine the ear, you might see very reddish looking tympanic membrane due to increased vascularity of the promontory lying just behind the tympanic membrane. So that is the type of otosclerosis which is in active form, active, progressive and severe form of otosclerosis, which is rare, which is not common. In majority of the cases of otosclerosis, on examination of the tympanic membrane, you will not find anything abnormal. Everything will be normal looking. But in a very small percentage of the cases, maybe less than 1% even, you might see reddish glue of the tympanic membrane because of increased vascularity over the promontory, which is lying behind the tympanic membrane. This is what you call short sign positive. This is what is known as short sign positive, only found in very rarely in a very small percentage of the cases, and that is because of increased vascularity in the area of promontory. The tuning fork test will show you conductive hearing loss. As I have just mentioned, it is mostly bilateral. So bilaterally, when you will perform Raynaud's test, that will be negative. Weber test might be central if conductive deafness is equal on both the sides, but if it is more on one side than the other, then it will be lateralized towards the more affected ear. Radiologically, you can diagnose this condition by polytomography of the temporal bone. The minimum size to be demarcated is 1 mm. It shows an area of translucency, that is demineralized area. But polytomography may be normal despite of the presence of this disease. So it's not a very good investigation. High resolution CT scan can be of some help to diagnose this abnormality of the bone. Audiology is very important. Pure tone audiometry obviously will show you conductive deafness bilaterally. Sensorineural element is of negligible importance, only present in a very small percentage of the cases, as I have just mentioned. In that case, you might see mixed hearing loss in the pure tone audiogram. A very important feature of pure tone audiogram in case of otosclerosis, which is considered to be diagnostic of this condition, that is presence of Carhart's notch at 2000 Hz in the bone conduction. That is, when you are performing this pure tone audiometry, the bone conduction curve will show you a sudden dim, a notch at 2000 Hz typically. And this is what you call Carhart's notch of otosclerosis, and it is considered to be a diagnostic feature of otosclerosis. Tympanometry can show you high impedance, abnormal stapedial reflex can be there, may be absent or may be reduced, but variable abnormalities can be there. Speech audiometry will also show you decreased score as it occurs in any conductive type of deafness. Caloric test in this case will be positive. Caloric test in this case will remain normal. It will not be affected. This condition has to be differentiated from other causes of conductive deafness like secretory otitis media, adhesive otitis media, tympanosclerosis, ossicular chain discontinuity, etc. Treatment. Treatment can be medical as well as surgical. The medical treatment is performed with fluorides. Another mode of treatment is giving the patient a hearing aid, and the surgical treatment is stapedectomy. So two medical treatments, treatment by fluoride and also the hearing aid, and surgical treatment is stapedectomy, where you remove the footplate of stapes partially or completely, stapedotomy or stapedectomy, and is replaced by an artificial piston so that movements of the footplate in and out, which were restricted in that condition, they can be restored. Medical therapy with fluorides, the mechanism of action is that it reduces osteoclast bone resorption and increases osteoblast bone formation. Medical treatment is surgically confirmed otosclerosis, which shows progressive sensorineural hearing deafness. This is the condition where we can use this medical treatment. That is very active form of otosclerosis, or otosclerosis where Schwartz sign is positive and cochlear element is present in that situation. In that case, medical treatment will be more effective and is indicated. Otherwise, in chronic case, slowly progressive otosclerosis, which is a common clinical presentation, the medical treatment is of not that help. But hearing aid can be given to every case. Dosage of fluoride is 50 mg OD for 2 days, followed by 25 mg OD for the rest of life. The surgical treatment is, as I have already mentioned, stapedectomy. I will not go into the details of that. There are various procedures which can be performed. You can partially remove the footplate of stapes and replace it by wire fat prosthesis. It's one factor which will restore the in and out movement, and the patient will have better hearing. Or you can also replace partially or completely the footplate of stapes by artificial pistons which are available. They can be applied and the movements of the footplate area in and out for conduction of sound can be restored. Thank you very much.